Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to upload a quick weight loss update. It's been about a month, so I thought I would go ahead and give you guys just a quick update on where we are and kind of like where we're going. So the first weigh-in that I have on here is a continuation, right? So this would have been on April 10th. It looks like, yeah, April 10th. So I weighed in April 10th, like 215.2, which I think is just a pound of loss since the 2 weeks prior. And so here is a little bit of an explanation for that. So during that 2 weeks that I, go in between each of my like weigh-ins or whatever, my check-ins with my coach, I was gone and I did not work out for like 10 of those 14 days, where normally I would train like probably 12 or 14 days. So I definitely had a change in my activity level. And then because I was traveling, I also had a change in like just sort of like my nutrition timing. And then like I was with family. So like I had meals out with family and stuff. So I definitely learned in that 2 week time frame that in order for me to like continue with more consistent weight loss, whether it be like a pound or two a week, that I definitely cannot take, a lot of liberty, right? Like, so either my activity has to stay the same, or my nutrition has to stay relatively consistent. Otherwise I just don't get results, and that's like a no-brainer. So, just wanted to post that one up again. Just taking a look at, where I'm at, like body fat percentage 47.7, fat mass 102, fat free mass 112. But yeah, so anyway, and then again, I have, thoughts around what my actual BMR is. I don't think it's that high. I think it's considerably lower, just based on where my intake kind of has to be in order for me to stay in that caloric deficit. And I could, would like to talk a little bit about that now. So, like I said, I haven't really been assigned any particular macros at all, which is fine. That's a little bit different than what I am used to doing. Like normally I would be given like a set of, protein, carb, fat grams to hit throughout the day. And we're just not quite there yet. Although I will say that in this last 2 weeks, I did go back to tracking, which I had moved away from a short period of time, just because like it kind of fucks with my head, not gonna lie. And I wasn't necessarily eliminating any food. So if there was anything that I wanted to eat, I did eat it, but I definitely was focusing a lot more, I would say, on portion control or calories in versus calories out, versus actual macros. Although I do prioritize my protein, just because I tend not to gravitate towards protein. Naturally, I'm not a big meat eater. I love it. I do enjoy it. I love chicken, love red meat, fish. I could get, kind of take or leave. But definitely, not necessarily a protein, kind of a kid, where I know like if you listen to some folks talk, they're like, oh my God, I love protein. I would rather eat that than eat potatoes. Where for me, I'm like, I'd rather eat rice, right, than eat chicken, and sometimes I'd rather have both, right, where I could eat a meal and have veggies and protein and starchy carbs and fats and, whatever, and be super satisfied by that. But definitely love me some carbohydrates. So anyway, so the last 2 weeks have been much more normal for me in terms of training. So I think in the last 14 days, like I trained 12 of those 14 days include, I would say like heavy, like lots of lower body, not necessarily heavy weights, like some heavy deadlifts, but kind of maybe like moderately heavy back squats, but lots more conditioning. And the reason for that is that we're getting into what we call our Murph season, which is getting ready to do the Murph workout, which for those of you who are not familiar with CrossFit, Murph is you cash in with a mile run, and then you do 300 air squats, 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, and you cash out with another mile run. It takes like about an hour, right, for the average person to do it. And we're doing a lot more running right now and prepping, right, to get ready. So on Memorial Day, which is when we do Murph, that will be all, kind of acclimated, right, to running. Because during what we would call like the in season, right, which starts like probably for us like around November November, December, January, February, bleh, that's not English. We don't do a ton of outdoor running. We do have air runners in my box. We're very fortunate that we have air runners, but that does not mimic running on the ground. It's a very different experience for those of you who have used the air runners. But we do mostly rowing, ski erg, and then echo bike, which is the big assault bikes, right? That kind of replace the traditional Airdynes in CrossFit. And then we have Concept 2 bikes, two C2 bikes. So we don't do a ton of running. And so when we come into this, like out season, right, which is where we do a lot more outside stuff, including Murph and all the hero workouts, no one is in really good running shape, generally speaking, unless you are prioritizing running throughout the entire year. You kind of come into, all of a sudden we get through the open and it's like, bam, there's all this running programmed and everybody's got shin splints, everyone's knees are sore, their hips are sore, like whatever, just from not running, right, for like 4 or 5 months. So we are currently doing that. So I'd say the last couple of weeks have been quite a bit of conditioning. And I've been trying to challenge myself because I did have knee surgery in November. So I'm trying to challenge myself a little bit to get back out and get comfortable and confident with running, especially in a WOD. Just because sometimes that transition from running is just it's so like cardiovascularly taxing, right? From going from running to lifting some weights and then having to do that in a relatively short time domain it's a bit stressful for me, if that makes sense. Like I worry, like my fear is like, oh my God, like I can't run fast enough to be able to get all of that done in 4 minutes, when it takes me 2 minutes to run a 500, probably 2:30 right now, like, and then I have to come back and do all of these other things and have it all done by minute 4, you know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going. So anyway, so that's where the last 2 weeks have been. So I've been back in my normal routine. I've definitely, like Saturday, I ate pizza. It wasn't like anything special, but haven't really done a lot of maybe like, I've definitely been prioritizing like the whole nutritious, like food, right? Which I generally do. But it was definitely better than the 2 weeks prior just because I was traveling and then I had family in town for Easter. So it was a little bit different, but really keeping things like, pretty clean and, just like not eating any like extra sugar, so it's like my nephew left some cookies here, but it's like, okay, we're going to leave those in the cabinet. Like it doesn't, that kind of stuff. So anyway, so I will pop up my numbers from this morning at 10 a.m. And I just realized that I didn't get the date on this, but this is from today. So today is what, the 24th of April, and my my meeting with my coach was at 10. So this is from like 10 o'clock this morning. So you can see that my weight is now 212.6. So it was at like a little less than 3 pounds. My fat mass is down. My fat-free mass is up. My muscle mass is up. My water percentage, I think, is down, right? So, so we've lost some body fat. My water weight is up a little bit, which is good, right? Just because it means I'm not dehydrated. And then also my visceral fat rating is down to 12. And it's like you see on the bottom there where it says visceral fat rating, it says 13. But if you look up above where it says metabolic age and it says visceral fat rating is 12, so that is coming down. And I can tell you right now that I've noticed that because when I lift heavy, I lift with a weight belt. And so nothing fancy, but I just have a couple of two-pood weight belts. They're both the Maddie Rogers versions that she's put out with two-pood. And then I also have one from, I forget what the brand is, but it's Danny Spiegel's Girls Who Eat belt. Totally different experience. Like the two-pood belts are much stiffer. And then the Danny Spiegel one is a little bit like thinner. It's just softer, right? It doesn't have the stiffness on like the side, the ridges that the two-pood belts have. But so I have noticed though that when I'm, belting up for something, that my belt is not getting quite as tight as I normally can get it. And that is definitely from like the belly fat, that visceral fat, like when I look at myself, I don't physically see a difference, but I can definitely tell that when I put that belt on, like it takes a lot more to like get it to where it feels like my liver is in my throat, right? So, but with that said, I was always kind of between the medium and the large size in those belts anyway. So I probably was bought a large thinking like the medium might be too small, but probably could have bought in a medium and it would have just been very, very tight, which is fine. But yeah, so I was already kind of to asterisk that is that, yes, I can tell a difference, but I also was already kind of between sizes anyway. So just a small amount of change in body fat would have probably made that happen. Anyway, so however, I will also say that even when I was now at this point like 20 pounds lighter, 20 pounds lighter than I am now. So when I was kind of trending in that 190s is when I bought my second Maddie Rogers belt. And I still kind of feel like this feels a little bit looser. So it's definitely like, I guess, nice to see like some of this like body fat is like belly fat, and stuff and whatever. So anyway, so that's where I'm at today. So plan for the next 2 weeks is just to continue what I'm doing, continue training. I don't have, my mom is coming into town, not this weekend, but next weekend, but she's only here for a couple days. And it's a little bit easier for me to stay more consistent when my mom is around versus like when I'm up at my mom's house. And then when like my family is, like niece and nephews are here or whatever. So anyway, so pretty much, staying where I'm at, prioritizing protein, just making sure that my meals are full of whole foods, like I said, kind of eliminating sugar, which is kind of on purpose, but not really, but just really prioritizing, my normal meals, right, over anything else. So that is my update, and I hope you are all doing well, and I will see you again soon. Bye.